I've got a really interesting gem for you today. Which side is my phone on? That side? No, that side. Yes, that one. Okay. So, first of all, um, for educational and research purposes, this, as far as I'm aware, is public material. If anybody has an issue with this, please reach out and notify me of any copyright issues or anything else as this. But it states in the material itself that it should be publicly available should the integrity of the content be kept intact. And that is my intent today, to be able to replicate the entire material. I don't know if I'm going to get the opportunity to go through the entire lot just today, so it might come out in 2 or 3 parts as we go, but let's see what happens. This comes from a file found either through many different websites, whether that's above top secret or Illuminati News Insider type of places. This is a PDF that was, well, rather than me try to describe it, I'll just read it. It's called Dialogue with Hidden Hand, or Discourses. Sorry, I put the wrong title in. Which is a self-proclaimed Illuminati insider. I'll leave that error in just to show you that, I'm just a normal person. To start off with, the introduction by Wes Penre gives a good summarize of it, and then it goes into the actual content of the document. So here we go. This self-proclaimed Illuminati insider appeared on the above top secret from October 2008, giving away information about the Illuminati agenda and their goals. The reason for this, he says, is because time is right for us to know some of what is going on behind the scenes, and when he explains why he needs to reveal it now, it's very convincing. In this article, I will post the dialogue between the above top secret forum members and Hidden Hand in its entirety. Please take time to read through this whole dialogue. Yes, I know it's long, but I think we can all benefit from it, even if you end up not believing what is said. When you read it, you need to have an open mind and can't be stuck in dogma or think you have figured it all out already, because then it doesn't matter what he says, you simply won't believe it. Here are some points which make him very believable. One being that the forum members he is communicating with make up pages after pages of random questions, as you can see in this article, and he answers them intelligently and precisely without delay. Without the delay it would take for a person presenting a hoax to come up with them. This is also what the forum members notice, and he is consistent. Many of the questions are very good, deep, and to the point philosophical, and this guy, or woman, we don't know, this being claims not to be from this earth, manages to reply on a very deep level, and her answers don't contradict each other. In an advanced and intelligent dialogue like this, it's very unlikely anyone would be able to do that without giving himself away at some point. You will most certainly notice also that she is sincere. Ever wondered who is on top of the pyramid? He gives us a clue. The bloodline he represents is well above the Rothschilds in power and in hierarchy, and is extraterrestrial in origin. The 13 bloodlines we have been talking about thus far on this website, the Illuminati Insider website, and others with the Rothschilds in a top position together with the Merovingian nobility, are in fact quite low rank in the bigger pyramid structures, and are the ones playing the power game here on Earth, only aware of parts of the bigger game on a need-to-know basis. The bloodline Hidden Hand is supposedly belonging to is way more advanced and higher rank. I really think this being believes what he is saying, and whether he has deceived himself to some degree or not, that is most probably what is driving the Illuminati. These are their goals. It'll leave you with a pretty strange feeling after you've read it all, but deep down it rings true. His answers need to be read more than once to understand the different layers of what he is telling us. Afterwards, when you start connecting the dots, you notice that a lot of pieces in the big puzzle that previously were missing and left unanswered suddenly fit. If you are visiting the Illuminati News website for the first time, already have a fair concept of what the Illuminati and the New World Order is about, and you only intend to read one article from my huge database, I would say this one would be the one to read. It's hard to perceive what ultimately drives the Illuminati. Greed? Yeah. Power? Of course. Control? Sure. But you always have this feeling that there is a deeper mystery behind their great work of the ages, and this may very well be the answer. When you are done reading this article and feel inspired, please go to the website Law of One and start absorbing the information presented there. It is a huge database on the same subject, but extensively expanded. Both these articles may, if we read them with understanding plus an open mind plus an open heart, show us the real solution to the New World Order problem. Here is the dialogue between above top secret members and Hidden Hand, the self-proclaimed Illuminati insider. And there's also bold notations that Wes has highlighted deliberately for specifics. He goes on to say that, but you won't see those bold notations as I'm reading them to you. Unless you get I'll provide links and everything in the description if I haven't already, and I haven't. And then we go on to the first session. Now, a couple of things as well to start off with here. There is this idea that some of the things that we're going to talk about here are going to trigger a lot of people, and you'll see what I mean by that as we go on. Now, I'm coming at this with an open mind and an understanding mentality. I'm not trying to say that this is what I believe or this is what anybody else believes or this is what you should believe. This is simply information, a catalyst, a piece of interaction for you to figure out who you are in response to it, and that's completely your free will as an empowered and divine entity of your own rightful accord. Okay, now the particular individuals are replaced in their name who are posting the questions to Hidden Hand, and they've all just colloquially been named ATS, except for in context in the questions when Hidden Hand references their handle from the ATS forum specifically, and you'll pick up on that very quickly, hence why I get it out of the way now. So first session, HH, or the Hidden Hand, starts with, I am a generational member of a ruling bloodline family. Every so often, as per the directives of the law of our Creator, a brief window of opportunity opens whereby a select handful of our family are required to make communication with our subjects and offer you the chance to ask us any questions you would like answered. I am double bound in this duty. It is required of me by the law of our Creator to offer this opportunity to you at this time, though I am also bound by the law of planetary free will and by family oaths that there is only so much I am able to say. Rules define life in games. If you wish to participate, here they are. Number 1, I will afford you courtesy and respect in the manner I address you, and I expect the same from you in reciprocation. Number 2, I will decide whether or not I am either willing or permitted to answer your question. If your question is not answered, it is either because I cannot disclose it or because I considered your question was lacking in one or more of the following: respect, courtesy, intelligence, decency, or that it is otherwise unworthy of being dignified with a response. Number 3, that you agree to treat this potential dialogue with an aspect of provisional faith. And this is important, my note. In practice, this means that rather than impeding the flow of information with crass comments of disbelief or petty name-calling, my participation here requires of you that you discourse with me under suspended judgment. In other words, wait until the process is complete before deciding for yourself as to the content of truth and knowledge imparted herein. That you formulate your questions intelligently. Point number 4. My time is limited. I do not want to waste it by having to troll through pointless, futile, insensible, and disrespectful questions. Therefore, I will answer the questions I feel are most deserving of a response during the time that I have available. Use the time we have wisely. If any of the above conditions are breached, I will reserve the right to terminate our discourse forthwith, if I so choose. That being said, I will attempt to answer your questions as honestly and openly as is permissible for me. I will check back and respond as time allows. The first question comes up as ATS. How many generations back does your bloodline extend, or perhaps more accurately, who does your family consider its earliest ancestor in a position of power? Hidden hand, our lineage can be traced back beyond antiquity. From the earliest times of your recorded history and beyond, our family has been directing the play from behind the scenes in one way or another, because the rise and fall of it before the rise and fall of Atlantis. Yes, that was indeed perfectly real. We are born to lead. It is part of the design for this current paradigm. ATS. To what extent has selective breeding been used to preserve the purity of your line, and what becomes of children of unapproved unions? In brackets, they would naturally still be raised with privilege, but not perhaps given the keys to the castle, as it were. HH. The breeding is generally case specific, depending upon the role that the family members in question are due to grow into. I will touch more on this in answer to the next person's question that you rephrased. There are no unapproved unions. Our family will always intermarry between lines, or what we would term houses. Marriages are arranged. In all of my years alive, I have never seen or heard of a family member breaking this code as far as marriage goes. You do as you are told. One cannot join the family. One is born or incarnated into it. On the rare instances of a child being born that could be seen as bringing difficulties, you are correct in your premise that it would be raised as part of the family, though would not grow up in the house of community of either of its parents. ATS, if one were to imagine a scale, perhaps as a triangle, with political, religious, and corporate power at the 3 points, how would you categorize the power of your family yields? Balanced, leaning more towards one or two than a third, heavily favoring one of the three above the others, and has that position shifted over time? You need to first, you need to first understand, wrong button, just scrolling through several pages all of a sudden. You need to first understand the structure of the family. In the grand scheme of things, the line is not as important as the house is not as important as the family is all. No matter the house or line, we are one, truly international family. Imagine, if you will, a body. A house would represent a vital organ or body part within the body itself. Each part has an important role to play in the functioning of the whole, and each of us, the whole, has our undivided loyalty. As I say, many lines, far more than you're aware of, one family. Our realms of influence do not fit as comfortably into the 3 boxes of your triangle as you may imagine. There are 6 disciplines of training within the family, and each member of the family is schooled extensively in all of them from early childhood. We all have an area of specialty, though we have experience in all spheres. The 6 spheres or schools of learning are military, government, spiritual, scholarship, leadership, and sciences. In practice, out there on the stage of public life, we hold key positions in all of these main areas of importance, and the addition of a complicit media machine and ownership of your financial establishments, all bases are covered. I will have to reply in parts due to the restriction of characters per post. Which ruling bloodline family? Is another question by ATS members. Rockefellers? That may be a bit too direct for our inquisitee. I'd offer the following substitute. How many parallel bloodlines do you estimate are in similar positions to your own, and to what extent does your family see them as either competition or collaborators? Yes, as I say, knowing the line is of no practical use to you. It is the belonging to the family that is important. There are 13 base or core original bloodlines, yet there are many, many other lines that spring from these, as do rivers from the ocean. If you imagine that there are 13 original lines as primary color that can be mixed to create a vast array of other colors, then you will have some comprehension. Again, no competition, just family. No competition in the sense of house against house, though it is a dog eat dog world. So there is interpersonal competition in that sense of the word. Everyone wants to move up. Our whole familial society is geared that way, toward upward progression. ATS. What does the term generational member mean? Which generation specifically? HH. It means that one is born into the family. The order and its agenda is handed down from generation to generation. Only in extreme rare occasions have outsiders been invested into the family, and then even these were of other esoterically integrable lines. ATS, can you cite 2 or more previous instances whereby this directive has been upheld? HH. Once in 1999 is what you would call an alternative media source. Once in 2003 on another internet conspiracy-based forum. Though the information there relayed was not entirely pure, not from the intention of misleading, but rather through imperfect or incomplete knowledge of the messengers. If it is not in the mainstream controlled media, it will not be believed by the masses. This is information tailored for those who already know that we are very real and exerting a strong, if mostly subtle, influence over your lives. If you wish to enslave a man, allow him to believe that he is already free. ATS, by what basis is the timing of such revelations established? HH, by the decree of the Supreme World Council, according to the will of the Creator. ATS, are we really considered chattel and traded as such by the government? HH, by the governments? Generally, yes. People are seen as collateral, pawns that are maneuvered around the chessboard according to the game plan. By the family, contrary to popular beliefs, many of us do not mean you any harm directly. There is just the matter of divine destiny to uphold and unfold, and we must play our parts in the game as given us by the Creator. In many ways, it is actually in our own interest that you are prepared for the coming harvest, just not maybe prepared in quite the way you would like. Still, even then, you are choosing the negative polarity with your own free will decisions, with a little help and direction from us. Souls are harvestable in either extreme of the polarities, one could say. ATS, if so, how do we become free men? HH, you will never be free for as long as you are incarnating on this planet. The very nature of your being here is indication of that. There is a reason why you are here, and here is very likely not really where you think here is. How do you become free? By working out where you are and coming to an understanding of why you are here. You are fast running out of time to do so before the coming harvest. Those that don't make it will have to repeat the cycle. ATS, is the Messiah alive today? HH, there is no Messiah. Stop looking outside of yourself for salvation. Is there what you might call a Christ consciousness alive? Then yes, in a manner of speaking, though not in your third density dimensional awareness. ATS, is it the end times as described in the book of Revelations? HH, yes. Not just described in the book of Revelations, but also in the prophecies of virtually every religion, spiritual philosophy, and mystery tradition throughout the world. This time is now at hand. To use your own example, however, Revelation 14 which is then focused on 14 to 16. If you have a Bible handy. I do. One moment. I should have had this prior ready. Well, here we are. What are we looking at? Revelations. What number is that? Whereabouts is that? It's been a while since I've had to pick up this one. Revelations. Right at the end, of course. All right. Revelations 14. And then number 14 to 16 in Revelations. And I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. 15. And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, Thrust in thy sickle, and reap, for the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. And he sat on the cloud, thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. And that's the end of 16. In 14 to 16, Revelations 14. Moving on. Who says it is the true line? HH. This is HH talking. So who says it is the true line? Is that the one that I'm up to? Sorry, I skipped a little bit. The earth is indeed ripe for harvest. The question is, who will be ready, and will the harvest be positive or negative? There's another question by ATS. How do you justify that the current British royal family is the true bloodline, but Ishmael is not the true receiver of Abraham's gift? If you're true bloodline, you'll know what I mean. HH. Who says it is the true bloodline? There were ruling bloodlines long before your Yahweh and his Christianity arrived on this planet. Yahweh is a creator, not the one infinite creator. There are other and higher gods than him. Ultimately, all are a part of the one, and either consciously or unconsciously exercise their free will to create. Begin to study outside of the box for a true understanding of the creation. The British royalty is not the most powerful line. The names that you know do not hold the real ancient power. There are others above these lineages in the hierarchy. You will not know the names of these lines. ATS, OP, what proof do you have that ruling elite families exist and you're a member of one? It's something that I think you thought was not falsifiable, which is why you chose that identity for your story you're weaving. However, I think there may indeed be a way you can prove it. HH, I have no need to prove anything to you. I am merely doing my duty as directed to me. Believe or do not believe, we are divinely indifferent. I am obliged to complete this task here. The end result is of no consequence to me. I will have discharged my duty. In handing down certain information that must be released at this time, there is no stipulation as to where I do so, only that I do. I chose above top secret as the general level of intelligence, comprehension, and reasoning is reckoned to be higher than in many such forums. Understand, due to the law of free will, I cannot just give you information, at least not without consequences to my own person, which I would rather avoid. It is an infringement upon your free will, your right to know. You have to ask me for the information you want. Only then can I provide it. So whilst there are important things I have to share, if I am not asked the questions, I cannot get that information to you. I am hopeful that synchronicity will bring the most important questions of real depth out from among you. My duty is to offer. Yours is to ask. My duty is fulfilled, whether or not yours is. ATS. Surely if ruling elite families exist and you're a member of one, then you must be controlling global events through world governments. Tell us one major government action from any country that is going to occur in the next 5 days. I won't be surprised when you refuse to do so. HH, which is written on September the 10th, 2008. I am not at liberty to discuss such intimate details, and in many cases I am not far enough up the hierarchy to know anyway. Typically, I would receive a call a day before the enactment of a major event just to say something along the lines of, this part of such and such a plan will take place tomorrow in such and such a way. Do not be alarmed. Also, one has to take into account that specific areas of specialty I mentioned previously. My area is spirituality, so my focus is not so much on geopolitical events. I am aware of the overall design, though the finer points are not often my area of expertise. I am prepared to give you some things coming down the timeline that you will be able to look back upon and verify my predictions retrospectively. The stock markets will soon complete their controlled demolition. After an initial appearance that the bailouts and rescue packages, remember 2008, have steadied the ship. There will be new record lows by the end of the month. Our financial institutions will later call in all loans as another one. There will be many bankruptcies and foreclosures. I'm pretty sure that happened back in 2008. I remember seeing a lot of vacant properties for sale in the United States and lots of foreclosure amongst other places around the world. That's me adding that in. The only way John McCain will become the next US president will be if something happens to Barack Obama before the election, if there even is an election. If a certain faction get their way, there will not be. Remember, behind the scenes, there is only one party, our party. Democracy is an illusion which is created to uphold your slavery. Whichever side wins, the family still wins. There are many possibilities and alternate scripts. All of them lead toward the ultimate implementation of overall blueprint of our Creator. Unless any unforeseen disruptions delay its announcement, there will be a new currency by the end of 2008, early 2009. There must have been some delays. Along with a new Union of Nations. January has been spoken of in some circles as the latest, though there are plans underway which could even bring this fruition much earlier than initially hoped for. It depends upon the results of other upcoming events as to how this will play out. I am not high enough up in the hierarchy to know the intimate details of the dates and times that far in advance. There is a tree system in which such knowledge is passed down as and when it becomes need to know. I would be considered to be a regional leader. Above me are national and international leaders. San Francisco and Damascus will be uninhabitable by the end of 2010. Keep in mind, all timelines have flexibility and fluidity. Things do change. Despite the best of predictions out there, nothing is set in stone. San Francisco and Damascus will be uninhabitable by the end of 2010. Possibly even sooner. Again, it depends upon certain forces at play and which timelines are activated. Humanity, though utterly unconscious of the fact, has a significant part to play in this. Congratulations, everyone. You prevented San Francisco and Damascus from becoming uninhabitable. All of our individual choices, every choice you make on a daily basis comes into the scale of balance in regards to this. When I'm looking directly at you like this, I'm talking, I'm not reading from the script here. For those who hear such a claim as San Francisco and Damascus will be uninhabitable by the end of 2010 and then decide to stop listening in due to that piece of information alone, you're going to be missing out on a heap of amazing gems still yet to come. So don't get caught up. There's a conversation briefly about how dates and things do and are not shared usually for this very reason, because schedules change. So it discredits people, makes them look like a fool. I'm not making these predictions. This is just, I'm reading this document. I'm just adding a few bits and pieces to the conversation here to make sure that you don't look at it and go, oh, well, it's all incorrect. Oh, that's silly. Moving on. possibly even sooner, depends upon certain forces at play and which timelines are active. Humanity, though utterly unconscious of the fact, has a significant part to play in this. You, as a collective consciousness of the planet, are choosing the negative polarization by default, by the quality of your thoughts and actions. Thought is creative energy focused. You get exactly what you put out. Why do you think the media is so important to us? You have, as a society, in your hypnotized comatose state, given your free will consent to the state your planet is in today. You saturate your minds with the unhealthy dishes served up for you by your televisions that you're addicted to. Violence, pornography, greed, hatred, selfishness, incessant bad news, fear, and terror. When was the last time you stopped to think about something beautiful and pure? Well, it's probably a bit too boring. The planet is the way that it is because of your collective thoughts about it. You're complicit in your inaction. Every time you look the other way, when you see an injustice, your thought at the subconscious level of creation to the Creator is your allowance of these things to occur. In so doing, you are serving our purpose. It is very important to us that the polarization of this planet is negative at the time of the great harvest. That means service to self oriented, as opposed to positive service to others. We require a negative harvest, and you are doing a fine job of helping us attain our goal. We are very grateful. There will be dramatic changes to your climate and weather conditions over the next few years. As the time of the great harvest approaches, you will see wind speeds surpassing 300 miles an hour at times. I don't know my conversions off the top of my head. I'm not United States, I'm Australian, so I deal in kilometers and meters. There will be raging tsunamis and widespread devastation, and a solar emission in late 2009, early 2010 that will cause major melting of the ice caps and subsequent drastic rise in sea levels, leaving many international metropolitan areas underwater. Again, just because it hasn't happened doesn't mean anything else here is incorrect. Don't get caught up on any specifics that have any issues, as all things are flexible. And rather than saying they're wrong, it would be more important to say you're more powerful than what they're claiming they are. This is all I have time for at the present. I have a sacrifice I must attend now. No, not really. Let's see if we can increase the depth of inquiry and questions and question matter in the next session. Seek beyond the superficial, get to the core of the matter. And that's the end of the first session. The second session goes on. ATS, how do you know that your bloodline deserves to lead and the rest deserve to follow? Wealth and power is self-propagating. Therefore, I say to you that your bloodline only compromises the extreme elite of the world because your ancestors came to power by chance in the beginning, not because your kind are special. In fact, there's nothing special, clever, or honorable in enslaving others. HH, it is not about deserving. Does one deserve to be born English or American or Italian or French or German and so on? We came not to power by chance, but rather, and I know this will be hard to swallow, by intelligent design. This path of ours was not chosen by us, but rather it was appointed and accepted. ATS, who is your creator? And is your creator the same as our creator? HH, this is an excellent question, which I can use to draw our communication closer to the core. Yes and no. You would first need to understand the creation. In the beginning, there is the infinite one. This is the source of all intelligent infinity. It is the undifferentiated absolute. Within it is ultimate potential, wanting to become. Think of it as the uncarved block of your Taoist traditions. Infinite intelligence becomes aware of itself and seeks to express itself, and the one infinite creator is born or manifest. This appears to your third density comprehension as space. In effect, the creator is a point of focused infinite consciousness or awareness into infinite intelligent energy. The one infinite creator, also becoming self-aware, seeks to experience itself as creator, and in so doing begins the next step down in the creational spiral. The one infinite creator is focusing its infinite intelligence, becomes intelligent energy, which you could call the great central sun, and divides itself into smaller portions of itself that can then in turn experience themselves as creators or central suns. In other words, each central sun or creator is a step down in conscious awareness or distortion from the original thought of creation. So in the beginning was not the word, but thought. The word is thought expressed and made manifest as creator. There is unity. Unity is all there is. Infinite intelligence and infinite energy, the two are one, and within them is the potential for all creation. The states of consciousness should be termed as being. Infinite intelligence does not recognize its potential. It is the undifferentiated absolute, but infinite energy recognizes the potential of becoming all things in order to bring any desired experience into being. Intelligent infinity can be likened to the central heartbeat of life, and infinite energy as a spiritual lifeblood or potential which pumps out for the creator to form the creation. This image may help with your comprehension. Creation is based upon three primary distortions of the infinite one. Number one, free will. In the first law or distortion of creation, the creator receives the free will to know and experience itself as an individuated, though paradoxically unified aspect of the one. Number two, love. In the second law of creation, the initial distortion of free will becomes a focus point of awareness known as logos or love, or the word in biblical terms, or the word is capitalized there, or the word in biblical terms. Love, or logos, using its infinite intelligent energy, then takes on the role of co-creating a vast array of physical illusions, thought forms, or densities, which some call dimensions, in which, according to its intelligent design, will best offer the range of potential experiences in which it can know itself. In effect, the one infinite creator, in dividing itself into logos, could be termed in your 3D density understanding as a universal creator. In other words, logos creates on a universal level of being. Logos creates physical universes in which it and the creator may experience their self. Let there be light. Number three, light. To manifest this infinite spiritual or life force energy into a physical thought form of densities, Logos created the third distortion of light. From the three original primary distortions, the one into making the creation, arise a myriad of hierarchies of other sub-distortions containing their own specific paradoxes. The goal of the game is to enter into these in further divisions. D-I-V-I-O-N-S. I'll have to have a look at that after this. The goal of the game is to enter into these further divisions, or maybe divisions, of creation, and then seek to harmonize the polarities in order to once again know oneself as the creator of them. The nature of all such physically manifest energy is light. Wherever thus exists any form of physical matter, there is light or divine intelligent energy at its core or center. Something which is infinite cannot be other than or many. An infinite creator knows only unity. Thus, drawing upon its infinite intelligence, the infinite creator designed a blueprint based on the finite principles of free will of awareness and sub-level creations, which in turn could become aware of themselves and seek to experience themselves as creators. And so this Russian doll style experiment was stepped down and down and down. Levels of creation within levels of creation within levels of creation, etc. The one infinite creator or great central sun steps down its infinite energy to become Logos. Logos in turn designs vast universes of space as yet unmaterialized, stepping down and spiraling itself again into Logoi, plural, in other words, into an array of central suns which will each become a Logos or co-creator of its own universe, with each unique individualized portion of the one infinite creator containing within it its very essence, intelligent infinity. Using the law of free will, each universal Logos central sun designs and creates its own version of perspective of physical reality in which to experience itself as creator. Stepping down again, it focuses its intelligent energy and creates the unmanifest forms of galaxies within itself and splits itself into yet further co-creator portions, sublogos or suns, which in turn will then design and manifest their own ideas of physical reality in the form of points of conscious awareness that we may call suns, stars, and planets. A planetary entity or soul begins the first density of experience into which another individualized portion of the one can incarnate. Just as with all logos and sublogos of creation, each soul is yet another smaller, unique portion of the infinite one. At first, the intelligent energy of the planet is in a state that you could call chaos, meaning that its energy is undefined. Then the process begins again. The planetary energy begins to become aware of itself. The first density of awareness is consciousness. And the planetary logos, or sub-logos in effect, begins to create other downward steps within itself. And the internal makeup of the planet begins to form as the raw elements of air and fire combine to work on the waters and earth, thus arising awareness of their being, and the process of evolution begins, forming second density. Second density beings begin to become aware of themselves as being separate and thus begin to evolve toward the third density of self-conscious awareness, the lower density into which a human soul can incarnate. Humans, in turn, or the souls incarnated within them, seek to return to the light and love from which they came as they begin the journey of progression from third density up to eighth density, and the return to the infinite oneness. Explanation of the densities beyond normal human consciousness is another question, though. So if you wish to know more about them, someone will need to ask an intelligent question, which I can respond to, so as to not impinge upon your free will not to know. Pause for a minute right there. Now, in regards to the densities, this is based off of an octave scale contained within the Law of One, and that can be seen at Law of One via llresearch.org or .com. I think it's .org. Their octave of scales is equal to the dozen-based scale that a lot of people refer to in the New Age movements that contain your Pleiadians and your Arcturians and eighth densities, with your Arcturians being 8, 9, your Pleiadians being 4, 5 into 6, all this type of thing. When these beings in New Age spirituality are talking about Earth moving into fifth density, what these guys call fourth density. So they've got 8. A lot of people talk about a 12 scale or a 13 scale. They've got 8 because it's actually 7, which includes the first key of the next octave or the next scale. So it becomes an 8 instead of 7. Equally, the 12 scale includes the 13, which is the beginning of the next cycle, to indicate an infinite continuation of these things again and again. So if you are familiar with the density levels that go above 8 into 13, or the ones that go above that even more, then you'll need to find a relative comparison to find the translation of these different ideologies into one another. You can't compare this sort of stuff on that type of level directly one to the other. So this one says 8, this one says 12. Well, this one's wrong because this one says 12. No, they're saying the same thing, but they're saying it in different languages. So use your discernment. That's the point of your free will. Don't take what I'm saying, don't take what they're saying or anyone else says as fact or proof of evidence of anything. Take your own experience, cross-relate it with all of the information you have available, and use your own discernment. That's you as a co-creator. You get to decide what you are doing. Enjoy. Back to it. Where was I? Second density. So having set forth the above, I can return to further elucidate on your original question. Who is your creator, and is your creator the same as our creator? As I said, yes and no. Ultimately, every living thing and all things are living is created by the one infinite creator's initial universal creation. So yes, taken from that perspective, the one infinite creator focuses infinite intelligence into an awareness point of infinite energy and becomes the whole of creation into being, though we are not directly created by the one infinite creator, but rather by our own logos, sub-logos, and sub-sub-logos, and so on. So from that perspective, whilst we are essentially made up of the same stuff of creation, initiated by the one infinite creator, our actual personal creators are different portions of the sub-logos of the one. In other words, yes, our creator, whilst originating from the same source, is not the same entity as your creator. Which brings me on to a question from another poster. I will continue with your question, with your other questions afterwards, but this enables me to indirectly answer the first aspect of your question without having to ask you to rephrase it due to having to carefully dance around the free will issue. ATS, you say that you come from 13 original bloodlines, yet the DNA mapping project clearly proved that all humanity descends from only 3. Does this mean that you aren't human? An excellent question. Thank you. Yes, that is correct, in a manner of speaking. If you were to meet me walking down the street, I would appear just as human as you do. We have been incarnating here with you for generations, yet our bloodlines do not originate from this planet. Your answer to the 6 ATS, your answer to the 6 disciplines of learning are quite similar to the book about Atlantis that was supposed to have been channeled. Was this also a time for your bloodlines to post answers? HH, yes, that is correct. Again, in a manner of speaking. Others shall we say, off-world entities also visited the planet at that time and passed down their own understandings of creation as well as their technology from what we could best describe as being a future aspect of yourselves. It was humanity's errors in handling this information that ultimately led to the destruction of Atlantis. However, having now answered a question on whether or not our lineage is of human origin, I can return to tie in that answer with an explanation as to who is our creator. I'm dancing close to the line in answering this, but the record needs to be set straight. And I should just about to be able to get away with it without incurring my own upline's displeasure. Let us get to the crux of the matter here. Your creator, the one you have called Yahweh, is not your God in so much as your Bible refers to him as being the one true God. He is a creator, or sub-logos, rather than the one infinite creator. He is not even a galactic logos, but rather is the planetary logos for this one planet. Our creator is the one you refer to as Lucifer, the light bearer and bright morning star. Our creator is not the devil, as has been spuriously portrayed in your Bible. Lucifer is what you would call a group soul or social memory complex, which has evolved to the level of sixth density, which in effect means that he, or more accurately, we, have evolved to a level sufficient that we have attained a status equal or arguably greater than that of Yahweh. We have evolved higher than him. In appearance, were you to gaze upon Lucifer's fullest expression of being, the appearance would be that of a sun or a bright star. Or when stepping down into a third density vibration, we would appear as what you would term an angel or light being. Allow me to elucidate. When an entity or a group soul complex evolves into the level of sixth density, it is by comparison to the amount of time it takes to get that far. A mere hop, skip, and a jump from eighth density, ultimate reunion with the one infinite creator, and then from there, back to dissolution, into the source of all intelligent infinity. We, our bloodline families, as a group soul or social memory complex, Lucifer, were on the verge of seventh density ascension. Although at this level, before the harvest comes, we have the choice to progress higher or to return to help others of lower densities with their own evolution by passing down our knowledge and wisdom or light to those that call upon us for assistance with their own free will. Now, at this time, having made our decision to stay and help our galactic brothers and sisters in the One, we were assigned a challenging task by the Council of Elders, who act as the guardians of this galaxy from their eighth density headquarters on the planet Saturn. Yahweh, due to the fact that he had not, as was his right as planetary logos, handed down his own free will to know thyself to those incarnating upon his planet, was having very little evolutionary progress therein. So we, Lucifer, was sent to help. Once the order was given by the Council of Elders, we fell, or descended back to a place where we could, with hard work and focus, once again materialize a third density manifestation of ourselves. Yahweh had agreed to our coming. In fact, it was he who had initially asked the council for a catalyst of change to enter into his creation and share the knowledge and wisdom we had attained through our ascensions. In the absence of free will upon the planet, there can be no polarity, and therefore nothing to choose between. Just as is portrayed in the book of Genesis, the planet was very Edenic in nature. Sure, it was a lovely paradise, yet the beings incarnating there had no agitator toward evolving beyond the third density, and therefore little hope of ever making the journey home to the one Yahweh, to the one. Yahweh has been happy to keep his own little pet Eden project, in effect, but with little chance of the souls here making it home. It had to become, in effect, and albeit a very beautiful prison, it had become, in effect, an albeit very beautiful prison. Yahweh was, in modern parlance, running a benign dictatorship. Without polarity derived from free will, there is only the unity of love and light, and no choice to experience other than that. So we were here to be a catalyst for change. In order to provide that choice, thus bringing polarity, Yahweh agreed that we would introduce the concept of free will to Earth's inhabitants by offering them an initial choice as to whether they wanted it or not, hence the tree of knowledge of good and evil, or more accurately, knowledge of polarity of positive and negative. Yahweh takes his inhabitants to a new garden and tells them, you can do nothing, you can do anything you like, except this one thing, thus creating the desire to do the one thing they are told they cannot by default, hence a choice. We provide the catalyst by telling them the benefits of attaining knowledge They eat from the tree, and the rest is history. Yahweh thought that his children would still choose to obey him, and when he discovered that they did not, he became angry. As he himself describes in his scriptures, he is a jealous God. And he did not like that his children had chose to disobey him and follow our advice. We're already committed to being here for a predefined set of cycles to help provide the catalyst for human evolution, namely by offering you the negative option, or that which you chose to call evil. Now that free will has been granted, Yahweh could not retract it, and we have to stay here as contracted to continue to provide the planet with the polarity choice. Since then, Yahweh has confined us as a group soul here within the Earth's astral planet with the polarity choice. Since then, went back to the same line there. Yahweh has confined us as a group soul here within the Earth's astral planes, which is very constricting and uncomfortable for a being of our wisdom and experience. The Council of Elders gave us a choice to be released against Yahweh's will, but at the cancellation of our contract to serve the planet Earth, or to remain to fulfill our assignment and endure Yahweh's self-proclaimed wrath. We stayed. But as a karmic result of our group soul's confinement by Yahweh, our own individuated souls were given the mandate by the council to rule over Yahweh's people during our physical incarnations here on the planet. Let's be clear about one thing though. All of this physical life incarnation is a very intricate and skillfully designed game whereby the one infinite creator plays a game of forgetting who it is so that it can learn to remember, and in doing so experience and know itself as creator, all the way down to us tiny individuated sparks of the all that is. Off stage and between lives, aka 0 point time, or what's known as the antimatter universe, as incarnated human beings, we, all of us, you as souls, are great friends, brothers and sisters of the one. Between lives, we have a great laugh about the parts we have performed in the play and look forward to and have great fun preparing the next chapters to act out. I hope that during the above answer, I have also adequately covered your question on what is our interpretation of good versus evil. If not, please say so, and I'll go into more detail. Can you elaborate on the coming harvest and what exactly do you mean by harvest? I can. I will combine my answer to you with my reply to the following question. Is 2012 harvest time? When you speak of the harvest, it has echoes of chaos Gnosticism in the sense that we are divine souls trapped in the physical world, continuously reincarnated into flesh until the time that we reach a level of spiritual gnosis that we are able to avoid being reincarnated in our next cycle. Is this the foundation of your belief? Another excellent and very insightful question. Thank you. The higher the quality of the question, the more depth I can give to my answer. It all has to do with the laws of confusion and free will. The laws of confusion and the law of free will are both the same, depending upon where you look at it. You might say that the law of confusion is your ability to forget that you are part of a perfect and infinite universe, thus allowing you to make your free will assumptions that you can do, say, be whatever you want. So the law of confusion and the law of free will are the same thing. Two different directions of looking at the same thing. Yes, the noonday winter solstice sun of December 21st, 2012 is a time when the Lord of the harvest shall return. You might know him as Nibiru. Read upon the Mayan prophecies and the calendrical events for more detail upon how the actual galactic and universal cycles work, The travelers who gave them this information were the same ones who visited the civilization of Atlantis. The Mayans used that information by creating, with the positive vibration of the polarity, with the positive vibration of the polarity. The Atlanteans opted for the negative. My speech is becoming a bit jumbled. It might be time to finish up. Yes, to answer your question, there is much truth in some of the ancient Gnostic texts, though there are always distortions. The information is not pure, it came through many filters. If you are indeed what you call divine souls. You are sparks or seeds of the one infinite creator. You are life itself, light, remembering and learning who you really are. And we came here to help you do this. And yes, currently you are trapped, or more accurately, quarantined within the matter of this planet you call Earth. You can thank your creator Yahweh for that. You are the offspring or individuals of his group soul or social memory complex. Macrocosmically speaking, you are Yahweh. The karmic effect of his imprisoning us in his astral planes also has an impact upon you. I cannot be more specific on this without impinging on the laws of confusion. You must work it out for yourselves. As for the question of can I elaborate on the coming harvest, yes, I shall do so now. Your planet abides by the laws of creation of your galactic logos. The galaxy runs on cycles of time known as the precession of the equinoxes. As I said, seek the Mayan calendar for a deeper insight as to how the galaxy runs. It is highly accurate. But for the purpose of this discourse, I will give a brief overview. The Maya use an astrological cycle called the precession of the equinoxes. This is a 26,000-year cycle in which Earth transits through each of the 12 signs of the zodiac for about 2,152 years each. Each of these astrological ages represents 1 month of the grand cosmic year. This Mayan cycle also corresponds to a 26,000-year relationship of the Sun, or solar logos, orbiting Alcyone, the central star of our 7 sister Pleiadian constellation. Pleiadian might be known as to some groups. The end of this cycle heralds literally a new world age and a new world creation, a new heaven and a new earth, and is the time of the great harvest. Smaller cycles yield a harvest, and then life continues on the planet as normal. Great cycles yield a great harvest and the end of current life on the third density. See it as a kind of cosmic jet wash, deep clean, while the planet takes a rest and regenerates herself. When this life cycle ends, all things will pass away and all things shall be made anew. Collectively, humanity right now is growing and developing into the beings you have been encoded to be. Yet, as with any labor, it is not the mother or the baby who is in charge, it is the primal process of birth itself, unfolding its own destiny. So December 21st, 2012 AD is not the day where all of a sudden the lights will go out and everything will suddenly change. Rather, we are now in the process of this transition from one world age to the next. The changes are underway and will steadily continue accelerating as we head towards the culminating date. The 26,000-year cycle is composed of 5 lesser cycles, each of which are 5,125 years in duration. Each of these 5 cycles is considered its own world age or creation cycle. Our present great cycle, from 3113 BC, 3113 BC, up until 2012 AD, is called the Age of the Fifth Sun. The fifth age is a synthesis of the previous 4. The initial date that Earth entered the fifth world was August 13th, 3113 BC, written in the Mayan long count notation as 13.0.0.0.0. To help you understand this notation, that's 13 backtoons with 0 catons, the second 0 tons, third 0 urinals, fourth 0 is kin. These are the main words for the periods of time. Day is pronounced kin. Month of 20 days or 20 kin equals 1 winal. Year of 360 days or kin equals 1 toon. 20 toon years equals a cartoon. 20 cartoons equals a boktoon. A boktoon is 5,125 years, thus 13.0.0.0.0. I forgot how many zeros I was up to. Every day from that point is reckoned by the number of days passed since the event of this cosmic beginning point. Within the 5,125 year cycle lies 13 smaller cycles known as 13 Baktun count, or the long count. Each Baktun cycle lasts for 394 years, or 144,000 days. Each Baktun was its own historical age within the Great Creation Cycle, with a specific destiny for the evolution of those who incarnated in each Baktun. Planet Earth and her inhabitants are currently traveling through the 13th Baktun cycle, the final period of 1618 AD to 2012 AD. This cycle is known both as the triumph of materialism and the transformation of matter. On 13.0.0.0.0, the December solstice sun will be found in the band of the Milky Way galaxy. Directly in the position of the dark rift in the galaxy, forming an alignment between the galactic plane and the solstice meridian. We're about to enter into a literal alignment of cosmic, galactic, solar, and lunar planes. This is an event that has slowly converged over a period of thousands of years and is caused by the precession of the equinoxes, a kind of like a tuning of the universal gears. It brings about the great harvest and the return of the Lord of the harvest. The convergence. And the planet will complete its ascension into fourth density at this point. The vibrational density of love. During this ascension, there will be a three-way split for those souls inhabiting Earth. Those of the predominantly negative polarity will accompany us as we graduate through the negative or service to self harvest. We, Lucifer, will create a new fourth density Earth based on negative self-service polarity. We must work off our own part of the negative karmic effect incurred from all the negativity created on this planet. Once we have done so, we will be released to once again assume our place as sixth density guardians and teachers of wisdom throughout the galaxy. Those of the predominantly positive polarity, love and light, will ascend to a beautiful new fourth density Earth, where you will begin to work upon your learning and demonstrating of love and compassion. It will be a very beautiful golden age. The fourth density begins to open you up to your true powers as unique individualized aspects of the one infinite creator. You will perform works and wonders of the like that the one you call Jesus promised you would do, and even greater things than these. It will be a very magical time for you. For the majority of humans on the earth, who could be considered, shall we say, lukewarm, they will experience a period of what will feel ecstatic 0 point time, where you feel totally at one with the Creator, giving you an encouraging reminder and glimpse of who you really are before the veil of forgetfulness once again descends upon you, and you will be transported to another third density planet, or a kind of Earth replica, to continue working upon yourselves and learning that life here is all about making choices. You will remain quarantined, incarnating in third density matter until the time of the next harvest, in which you will need to have proved yourselves that you have learned how to become more positive beings, focused more upon the service to others rather than seeking only to serve yourself. When you can do this, the next harvest comes. You will have earned the right to join us and enjoy your inheritance as a member of the galactic community, and you will sit down with us as brothers and sisters of the One around the table of our galactic governing body, the Confederation of Planets. Well, I have imparted much during this session. With thanks to the quality of your inquiries, I must now take my leave for today. If you have further questions on the harvest you wish me to speak in more detail on, if you ask, I can answer, or any other questions you have too on other matters. I will get to them all as time allows. As with the other respectfully asked questions here, since I took these away with me to reply earlier. If time permits, I will check in with you tomorrow. I skipped a page there. Let's go back up to here. And that'll have to do it for today. Finished at the end of page 16, the beginning of page 17. I will, as soon as I get the chance, upload the reference material in the descriptions, so you'll be able to find the PDF. I might go ahead and link in a drive link, so that way you can download an AI read version of the book that you can download via MP3. Enjoy. I hope you've been enjoying it. Chuck your thoughts and your notes in the comments for other people to check out. There's a lot of material here and a lot of things that, like I said, would trigger a lot of people. We're having a conversation with Lucifer, apparently, except not the Lucifer that the TV might have you believe, or general Christianity. So I hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for the next part where we go into the other sessions and just continue being as amazingly you as you can be. That's exactly the reason why you're here, is to be you, not to take any effect or any purpose from anyone else and be anybody else. If you believe in anything along the lines of a creator, God, or anything like this, then you've been created to be you. So honor your creator in that and be as courageously you as you possibly can be. Till next time, ciao. This is interesting. This is my first live, so how the fuck do I end it? Am I sure that I want to stop streaming? Yes. Ciao.